Hello, 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 and welcome to Teachers Are Talking. I'm your host, Lady P. We're here giving you the real on education. We have a pretty serious topic today. Um, it will be very informal and give you a real background on what's faced with what teachers are facing, even what adults are facing, and the issues that we go through. We have a great fabulous guest today that's going to help us understand better what we have to go through and how it affects us in the long run as adults. And let me introduce you to Stacy. She's the one who's going to give us the real on what's really going on.
Yes, hello, I'm Stacy Staten. I'm certified in mental health counseling, specializing in trauma and crisis. I work with every genre from children up to adults, also with chemical dependency also.
Wow, wow. And we have our residents, Bree, that's here on the show all the time. We missed you last time.
I missed
We
y'all.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Everything going great for you?
Oh yes.
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 And last but not least, the one you guys kept emailing me about and calling me about, and who is she, and well, you need to have her on again, and oh my gosh. Candid J, how are you?
I'm excited about this topic.
Yes. So today we are talking about mental health, and it's coming from a standpoint of teachers and our mental health. It's coming from the standpoint of students and their mental health and how it all works together, and sometimes it does not work together.
Right.
And I thought about this because recently we've had several teachers that left out and that actually committed themselves into institutions because of the stress level. And things that are going on that most people have no idea teachers are dealing with. And then I was walking around and I was talking to teachers and trying to get a feel of what's going on in their classes. And a teacher came up to me, she was like, pay no mind to this class. This is my medicated class. I'm thinking medicated. And I'm looking, who? And I realized those are some of the same students in my one class that's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah. And I was like, that's true. ADHD, ADD, bipolar, schizophrenic, depression, and they're all mixed together. And they're all in one class. And apparently they travel from class to class. And they're doing the same thing in each class. And because I was like, okay, this class I just raise my hands to. There's not much I can do. I don't even know what to do. Because once you pull out one fire, then another one kicks up. And it's all because all these different mental issues. And I'm thinking, am I really equipped for this? Am I really made to handle all these different issues without formal training? You know, so it brought me to that of mental health. And then I'm thinking about all the teachers that went out because of the stress and committed themselves. So let me ask y'all a question. How do y'all deal with the variety of issues that you face in your classroom? We'll start with you, Bree. How do you deal with, because I know you have a few probably,
Yeah.
or over the years.
And it's interesting because when I started out the school year, this current year, I'm my background is special education, first of all. This year, I started out in a position that didn't require me to have a classroom. So I did pull-outs with students who had specialized education programs.
Right.
And so, but now, the last few months, I've been back in the classroom in middle school. And it's almost like you can't really tell who has what and who's who and all that. It's just, I feel like a lot of it is, maturity and, consequences inside of school, outside of school, and just how you manage your classroom. And so for me, we have our moments. Some days we're working hard, and there's, as long as they're busy, they seem to work very well. Also, I've discovered that the cell phone as if that's new. The cell phone is a motivation factor. So as
Yes.
long as they get to put their headphones on, listen to music, they tend to work better than when they have to listen to me for the whole time. So I figure, you know, if I give them their little short instruction, give them their directions, and then let them get to work and do what they need to do in their way, it's easier than me trying to yell across the room, you be quiet and you do this, and you know, they learn, all the kids learn in their own special way.
That's true. That's interesting you say that, because I have many students as well. They put their music on, they're busy little bees. And I'm thinking, how are you working with your music on? And that
That's how we
music is
work.
bumping and
And now they dancing, and then they
I'm
working,
thinking,
they dancing.
yeah, and I'm thinking, are you really working? What are you working on? And they're actually working, but to me, I guess I'm old school. I'm old fashioned, and I'm you know,
Nah, I'm just bad.
yeah. And I'm thinking, and a lot of them are not diagnosed as special ed.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, you don't have any accommodations that say you need music on.
Right.
Are you really paying attention? Are you really doing what you need to do and learning? But that's interesting. I thought that was a good point you
And
brought
out of
up.
my instruction too, a lot of my assignments are online. Like I
Yeah,
try to
mine
bring
too.
in Chromebooks and
Right,
iPads as much as
right,
possible,
right.
so that, you know, that's what they're used to.
Right.
Now, the unfortunate part of it is that I do have to make a balance, because when they come to the standardized testing and all this other stuff, they can't do it online
Right.
unless they have a IEP or
Right.
you know, something like that. So it's a balance.
Right, right. So,
Makes a lot of sense.
Stacy, question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is music some type of copinism for students who have some type of mental health or issues like that? Is that something that helps them, or is that something that actually is a deterrent to them?
I think with music, even myself, I like to listen to music when I work out.
Yeah.
And for me, it's because it's something that I'm doing. I'm listening to music, I'm working out, but I'm also studying, so it gives me opportunity to have something going on in my mind also. So really, little do you know, they do remember things a lot more because it's something that is it's structured for them. Also, for kids who do that, a lot of times you want to make sure that, just like for adults, when we have that downtime, we have time just to sit there and think in your thoughts. Who wants to do that? So imagine that for a child,
Right.
when their mind is running and running and running.
Right.
For them, if they have that in front of them, that's something that keeps them moving. It keeps them to a point where they're like, okay, this is my relaxed place. So I actually like your idea of meeting them in the middle, because it's not taking it completely away.
That's good.
It's, you know, it's an enmeshment to where they're kind of learning also, but they're
Right.
still getting their way a little bit.
Absolutely.
Candy, are you one that use music, or what do you do with
All the time.
Oh,
I love music.
First of all, the kids walk into my classroom with music.
Yeah.
And I noticed that my hypervigilant kids and my kids that might be stressing out about whatever the case may be, once they come in my room, and usually I'm playing some type of gospel music, and when I feel really hype, I'm GP, are you with me? Okay, you know, that type of vibe.
Right.
But you know, it helps them, it calms them. They always want to come to my room.
Right.
You know, we always have those special babies that, and I'm not talking about special education
Right.
kids. I'm talking about my special babies.
Right.
That want to come because they know I have classical music playing, I have gospel
Right.
music playing, I have, you know, I'll get crunk with them for a little bit. I mean, it just depends, and it soothes them.
Right.
And then, okay, can you go back to class now?
Right,
Are you ready
right.
to go work?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, okay, all right. And they'll, what did you do to them? Just let them sit in the corner and listen to some music a little bit.
And one of my co-teachers, they have special days where they have certain kind of music. So he has an old school day, he has their music day, he has a hip hop day, he has an R&B. So every day they have a different type of music that he plays for everybody.
Right.
You know, and it's just I feel like it's an escape. Like you say, when, you know, y'all say the kids, they have so much going on in their minds, it pulls them away from that for the moment. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
Wow.
Absolutely.
Because I know for the past maybe 3 months or so, since Christmas break, I've been playing, it's called instrumental classroom relaxation music. And I tried to put on something a little more upbeat the other day. Miss! What is that? What is that? I was like, I thought Don't y'all want to hear something more upbeat? What's that other stuff you have playing? What's that other stuff? And especially for my class, my first period, they come in. That's my group. I never really get to teach. That's just the class that I get to prepare for the other classes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the group. I have 7 of them, and I finally realized most of them are all medicated. That's where my bipolar and all them are at.
But you know what I learned is that sometimes it's the generalization of it. If let's say that they're in a crisis situation at home, or they're in a situation where mom and dad's not around, and all they hear is, you know, the latest hip hop music that's always playing on the radio.
Right.
And in that time, they're having issues with that same music in the background.
Right.
So when they come to school and they come to your room and they hear the softer music, it's like a separation, because the music that they're used to kind of puts them in the same place, that negative place. Yeah. And so they get to go into a different space when they're with you.
It's definitely a trigger, and just like you mentioned, and you brought it up right on point, it's conditioning. When you condition a child for something, that's what they get used to. So although they might go home and want to do the upbeat hip hop music, when they come to your class, they're conditioned to, you know what, I like this music. This, even if it's 5, 10, 15 minutes, they're conditioned to say, you know what, this is my time for me to just relax, and I can still be myself. And although you are preparing for the next class, they're like, hey, you know what, Miss P about to play that music. At first we ain't like it, but we like it now, so we don't want to hear that hip hop stuff.
That makes a lot of sense, because they actually calm down. And for the STAR test, they actually played that music. They're like, Miss, they playing your music. Miss, listen, they're playing your music. It's like, yeah, I actually didn't tell them to play it, but it's helping calm the entire school down. Let's talk a little bit about teachers and our stress level and our mental health. Or I want to say teach adults. Adults, period. And as teachers, how do you handle the stress level? Because we're under stress that most people have no idea. They think we go in there, hi, I'm Ms. Thomas. This is class today. We're going to go over your ABCs, and I hope you enjoyed this. And we're going to play a little bit, then we're going to have recess, and then we go home.
Not happening.
Is that reality? Or is it more like, Ms. Thomas, you didn't turn in your lesson plans today, and did you grade all those papers? Your grades are due tomorrow. Oh, I need to write this up because your principal needs to know that you didn't turn this in. Oh, by the way, did we tell you that you have your data meeting is in 3 hours?
And you got a conference.
And then your parent conference, and then your R. Oh wait, and don't forget attendance.
Did you turn in attendance? Oh, you know that was the attendance that we have to get paid by. Oh,
and don't forget that you have your own kids.
Which, and then mine is autistic, so that's a whole nother world when I go home. So,
I think that people forget that we have a life outside of that, and it's unfortunate that some parents feel like, okay, you're doing everything that I'm not going to do, or I'm not supposed to do, or everything that I can't do, or want to do. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not just, oh, you're just a teacher and you get summers off. No.
Yeah, no. We've had several teachers this year. I mean, our stress level has been really, really, really high due to trying to, we moved from an F to a B on the grading scale.
That's a big jump.
But now we're expected to move from a B to an A and still maintain that jump. So there's been extra duties and different things that have been brought about that we need to do, but at what expense?
I think it's important that even it all starts somewhere. And we'll start even broader, the staff. I mean, the principals, the administrators, like they have to know that the caseload is a lot, number one. Number two, a host of my friends are teachers from grades kindergarten all the way up to high school. And a lot of them are changing careers. I
Yep.
mean, to a point where I love my kids, I love my class, but
Right.
it's too much.
Yeah.
Because it's not just 9 to 5.
No,
It's absolutely
It's
not.
24/7.
Papers home,
Yes.
you know, grading papers, and then like you mentioned, you might have that special group of kids or that kid that you kind of identify with. So you taking that home up here also.
Right.
Also,
Absolutely.
we put so much on ourselves that as adults we neglect to make sure that we maintain self-awareness, and we make sure we do that self-care is super important. Even if it's something that you're just, let me take a ride around the block, or you know what, I like to go get my nails done,
Right.
things of that nature, because you get so caught up in the hype that you're doing so much for other people
Right.
that you forget about yourself.
Right.
It's interesting that you say that. Can I share my little
Go
story?
ahead, go
so,
ahead.
Just, it's not even just a couple weeks ago. I woke up and I was really dizzy, and I had heart palpitations
Right.
and just all kinds of stuff just going on. I didn't have an appetite, and I was sweating. I had a migraine headache, and I still got myself together and went to school. And this was like 2 days straight that I had this migraine headache. And the third day, you know, my family, especially my children, was like, "Mom, you just need to take a day off, please." You know, and so I finally, you know, it's crazy because I did everything that I needed to do at school
Right.
with a smile on my face.
That's right.
And then I go home, and then my kids, you know, they know. They're just
Right.
like,
They
what's
do.
going
Right.
on? So I'm, you know, sacrificing my life and my health for other people's children.
Right.
And then when I come home, I'm no good to my own.
That's right.
You know, and so I finally took a day off, and I just, you know, I felt bad. I hate taking off of work.
Uh-huh.
It feels horrible.
It does.
Especially when I didn't even plan for it. And so I just like, you know, let me just go ahead and take off. And I went to the doctor and everything, and I was fine. But it's just, you have to at some point just say, you know what, your health, you're no good to anybody if you don't take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Your students, your job, your kids, your family, nobody, not even yourself. You have to learn how to put yourself first at some point.
Exactly, exactly. Y'all, if y'all need to call in or want to call in, please call us at 203-802-5694. If you have a question or comment, please call us 203-802-5694.
I have a question.
Yeah. Kenny has a question. Engineer has a question. Go ahead.
Based on the same topic, while you're talking about the stress of the teachers, do you find that it's different with male teachers? I mean, are they talking about their stress level, or is it affecting them the same way? I know women sometimes internalize these things, but as men, do they have the ability to shun some of that off and go home without it?
I will say this. One of our teachers that committed themselves in was male. Black male at that.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, that's not as common, but it was kind of surprising because he's normally the one, hey, I got this, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But, yeah, he had to actually go in and he took a week and a half off.
I wonder if they have it differently than female teachers, because the spot that I had taken was a male teacher. But I mean, he was close to retirement, and he tried to give it, you know, a couple more years or whatever, and he was just like, no. After December, he was like, no.
That's it.
You know, and so I just wonder because, especially when you have female students, and it's like how far can you go without stepping over that line of, oh, you're just treating me like this because I'm a girl, or even with the male students, you know, how far do they have some type of issue, you know, worry of how far can I go before I overstep that boundary to where, oh, this big man is, you know, doing something to my child, and, you know, are they looked at differently?
I know, I have a new teacher that's on my campus, and I'm his mentor. And one thing that he faces a lot of the females do not respect him because they don't have fathers in their life. And so why are you talking to me? Why are you saying that to me? You don't have to say nothing to me. You're not my teacher. And he, you know, he's like, well, I'm trying to help you.
And then on the flip side of it, they building a relationship with the students, and so then how far can that go before it's a boundary issue to where you're being too friendly? They're saying build relationships with the students, but then how far is that, you know, that relationship.
Right.
And I wonder how that
Yeah, because
pays, I'm sorry. I was just saying, I wonder how much that weighs on the male teachers.
Because in hindsight, I was probably way too close to my high school science teacher, because I would be after school staying and talking to him, and you know, being real up close and personal with him, and it was because I didn't have my daddy around, so I was looking for that daddy figure. But in hindsight, I'm thinking he was hitting on me though.
Right.
He was hitting on me.
Right. I hug my male students, I hug my female students.
Right.
And then, but then you have a male teacher, do they get to, you know, so it's just like, is it different?
It's a
It's
part
a
of a
difference.
stigma too, because one of my friends that is the teacher that's changing careers, he's a male, he's also a coach. So that dynamic is really a big difference, because
Right.
they see him as this figure of, oh, he's a coach, he's the cool guy.
Right.
But they don't recognize either how much stress they cause him. Like stress, we don't think about, we say stress and then we're like, oh yeah, girl, I'm stressed out. How many times a day do we say that? But stress will physically take you over. If you ever recognize you have a headache, you know, 4 to 5 consecutive days, that's stress.
Right.
If you
Right.
recognize that, you know, you're not hungry, or you do have those heart palpitations, that is stress, and it will
Right.
eat you away. Stress, a lot of times, you know, the ultimate diagnosis, or what they say is, oh, cardiac arrest, they passed
Right.
away but that was caused due to stress.
Right.
All the stress that you just put on yourself and didn't take the time to sit back and take a deep breath and tell everybody, give me a minute.
Right. Right. Have you found that, do you have more female or male patients? Or which ones have you seen more of that come in for like stress or just, I can't take it anymore?
I get a lot of, for women, I get a lot of the, you know, I'm just trying to do everything for everybody, what about me? Where on the other hand, the male clients that I have, they've held it in for so long that by the time they get ready to say something, they've bursted, or they say, you know what, I did this I think for males, they are looking more for compensation. Like, hey, I just want you to do this for me, versus where a woman is like, just say thank you. Because the male will literally, you know, they're not as vain. So if they're attempted to commit suicide, things of that nature, they will, you know, blow their brains out. Versus a woman, she'll take pills, or she'll just, oh no, I'm tired, or I'm sleepy, or things of that nature. The woman will compensate more. So I've seen it equally, but the male is more like, you know, I did all this for you. Why didn't you? You know, nobody ever gave me a pat on the back. And the woman just wants to hear thank you. And I've done all this for my kids and my aunt and my sister and things of that nature. So it's pretty mixed.
Just think about how much I don't know about you, but do you remember when we had ice cream socials for
Yes,
our teachers?
yes,
And they
yes.
genuinely show
Yes.
appreciation to
Right.
us. That's all I was asking.
Yeah, that's all I just wanted to thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that made my day. I
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah,
get through
like the
rest
Sonic
of the
drinks.
week.
and-
Yes.
I remember not
Yes.
too long ago, our principal got out and barbecued for us, and he
Wow.
accommodated everybody's dietary needs. He
Wow.
had fish burgers, he had veggie burgers, he had beef burgers. I mean, it was just amazing. And they hand delivered fries to you if you weren't able to stand in line and get it.
Wow.
So you know what I mean? So
It's
I just
like-
thought it was just
Yeah.
cool, you know?
A lot of times the teachers want a pat on the back. They just
Right.
want a thank you from the parents, especially, and you'll get a thank you from the parents that know that their child is a little bit more rambunctious than others. But then, like, I'm taking way back, well, and we got corporal punishment.
Right.
When I was living in Dallas,
Hello.
we got paddlings. So Dr. Arwan was tearing us up between 1 paddling to 3, and my mom was A-okay with that. The other dynamic in this day and time, don't touch my child.
Right.
I want you
Right.
to teach him.
Right.
Right.
You gotta meet me
And
halfway.
it's
Yes.
funny that you mentioned that too, because I was scrolling on Facebook, and it was a discussion about the responsibility of, you know, like whose responsibility, and I think we talked about it as well on a previous show. But we were saying that where does it start, you know?
Right.
And it's just like it honestly it starts at home, and it's funny because. I was just driving here when I had my kids in the car, and she looked over and she was just appalled. I mean, her whole body language was like, "Mama, did you see that boy just throw that cup on the ground?" And it was just like I didn't notice it, but it's just because I taught my child, you don't
Don't
throw
do
your
it.
trash on the ground.
Yep.
You know, and it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
you
yeah.
teach that at home. You teach your kids that, you know, when you go out into the world, this is the way you should act. Like my son is very opinionated, but now we're at the point where we're teaching him, where I'm teaching him when to share your opinion and how to share your opinion.
Right, right.
Saying it out loud in front of the entire class when you don't agree with the teacher with all your body language is not it.
Right.
Because if I go and do
Right.
that to my supervisor, or if you go to a job and you do that, it might not look good for you.
Right.
You do that with the police officer,
It's definitely not good.
and so
That's an automatic.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think about something because that kind of triggered me. Who teaches the children self-care though? And so I think about what my granny always told me, baby, before you do anything else for anybody else, make sure you take care of
you.
yourself.
Right.
And that's how I stay mentally clear, because I am that person that will go get, turn off my phone, go get my nails done, go to the spa. I'm just
Right,
those
right.
Are, music is my therapy. I mean, so I'm good at self-care. So I kind of
And I was one of those kids, and my mom told me the same thing. But unfortunately, as I became an adult, dealing with, trying to go against what my mom taught me, and,
Right.
It's just I kind of had to. I started to put myself last, and now I'm getting back to it. I had kids very young. I was pregnant at 18, had my child at 19, so it's just like I didn't have that time to really figure it out. Like my mom taught me that, but while I was at home.
Right.
So
right,
when
right.
then that's another thing, y'all kids listen to your parents. Because it's gonna come back to you. You can do everything you want. I moved out at 18, and I was like, I wish I'd have stayed home till I was over.
And that kind of depends on your scope of personality too. Like you can be taught that, but if you're, there's a Myers-Briggs personality test that you can take.
Right,
And it'll let you
right.
know, like I'm an INFJ.
Right.
I'm social. I like to give to others.
Right.
Was I raised that way? I was not.
Right.
But that's just that's how I turned out.
Right.
But I had to
Gotta
teach
recognize
myself.
Right.
You know what, Stace? Go in there and take a bath. It's okay if that you won't use all the hot water. I'm using all the hot water for this next 30 minutes. So y'all get to wait an hour because I'm about to use it. Just that small stuff,
I was self-care. A lot of us don't use that. A lot of us don't realize. I don't know if we don't realize or if we're not taught that, but I was looking at some of the studies, and it said that in 2017 they did a poll, and it said that teachers across the U.S., 1.86 million of them found that their mental health was not good. That's a lot of teachers. That's almost 2 million teachers across the U.S. Are struggling with, I don't know, is it self-care? Is it our what's going on with us at work? And then 61% of that say it's always or often they're dealing with high stress.
And I think some of the part of that is, you want to do well on your job. You have these kids' lives that you're impacting and that you're
Right.
molding, and you take it personally.
Right.
But
As you should.
yeah,
Yeah.
as you should. And while you're doing that, you're having all these other demands piled on top of you. The main thing, I'm being honest, just this standardized testing stuff. Like,
Absolutely.
I honestly, and maybe I'm just looking at it from a child's eye, but when I was in school, my teachers didn't seem to be as stressed.
No,
They
did not.
didn't.
Miss Jacobs wasn't that stressed. Miss Jacobs sounded like the type of teacher that you were. She had a microwave in there, you could come in there and chill, but she did not play that. And
Yeah.
we knew that.
Right.
Miss Jacobs didn't play that.
My teacher would go say, with the corporal punishment in the classroom, when you do
Right.
something,
Right.
go flip that chalkboard and wait for me in the back.
Right.
And
Right.
get it right then in the classroom, you
Right.
know? But
Yeah,
and
that's
this is in middle school. This
Right.
is not elementary. You're
Right.
still getting it in middle school.
right. We had it all the way to high school. So,
Yeah.
and I would always ask my mom, "Why are you signing that paper? What's wrong with you? Why are you giving them permission to spank me?" And she's like, "Well,
They still sign it today, but do we use it?
No,
Like,
absolutely
why
not.
don't
and
we-
it depends on the district. Some
Because the
districts
parents
don't."
are too busy worried about, oh, don't touch my child and this and this. But you want me to teach your child, although you're not recognizing the stress that I'm going through. On top of that, I cannot teach your child something if when you get home, you're gonna tell them the opposite. Because when
Right.
it comes down to it, how many times did well, my mama said.
Oh, it's funny. I had a little girl do that to me, and she went home. We were talking, and she was like, "Well, I'm just gonna tell my mom, and she gonna come up here and da 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 da." I said, "Okay, well, let's call her so I can figure out what day and time she's coming."
Right.
And then we can go from there, because I still wear tennis shoes every day. So, you know, and I mean, I flat out told her that, and then she looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, go ahead and dial the number and we can call mom. I just want to be prepared for whatever it is that's coming my way. But what we're going to do is we're going to figure it out.
Right.
And if she does not want you to be in my classroom, then you can either go to another classroom or you stay home or whatever the situation is. But you can't come in my room and run my room.
I'm sorry. You just
Did you
No.
call her parents?
Oh, yes, I did.
And what her
It was a
mom
whole
said?
different story.
Oh, I bet.
Mama didn't say that.
I bet.
But wait a minute. Hold on. So, a couple weeks ago, little girl was blocking my door. The child was trying to get inside of the door. She was blocking the door. I said, you know, move over so that they can get in. No. Move over so that they can get in. So when I got to the door, I went just like that. I didn't hurt her.
Right.
I didn't whop. I went, move this knee, go. And she went, okay. She went over there and texted her mom and told her that I hit her. Right? No, this child is failing
Of
my
course.
class.
Of course.
Okay. And every time I call her mom, she don't answer the phone. Oh, but she answered for her that day.
Of course.
And call the principal and all of those things.
Of course.
And the principal said to her, but I also show here that Miss Jackson's been calling you about the grades. And the girl got in trouble instead of me. But I don't think people think about those type of situations when we're talking about mental health.
Right.
It's bringing it right back full circle, because those type of situations add on to the stress of it.
Exactly.
We're trying to figure out what are we gonna get
Right.
from this parent.
Right.
You know, are you gonna partner with me,
Right.
or are you just gonna bump heads with me?
Right.
And we need to figure it out, because I have 100 and something students
Right.
who may have one or two parents, and then, you know, so I got them, I got the parents, and then even the grandparents. You know, you have some kids who have a whole crew that comes.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
it's just like we have to deal with, okay, what are we who's coming to see us?
Right.
You
And
know.
about what? Is
Yeah.
it something relevant?
Yeah.
Is it something I've called you about?
Ignorant.
And
Yes.
it's a lot to think about.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought that up, because the big thing is accountability.
Right.
How many times did you say you
We
called
just
her
talked
mom?
about that.
And now with my child saying, "Oh, you know, she hit me," you know, let's start with when I called you about her failing, because unfortunately, Miss Jones, your child will not pass the next grade.
Correct.
If you can't take accountability for your child's actions, and unfortunately, the teachers take on all that stress that the
Right.
parents need to have a little bit of,
Right.
because they expect you. Oh, she's a teacher, she got it.
And on top of that, we have to figure out, okay, I have some students that come and tell me things about their parents.
Right.
And so now, when do I take, you know, do I call CPS, or do I just
Right.
tell my supervisor, or do I call home? Like, we have to think about all that. I have all kinds of notes of kids. You can't call mom because there's a restraining order. You can't
Call
I
dad.
mean, it's just
Right.
like, it's,
Right.
and then
Right.
you're afraid to
Call the wrong person.
call the wrong person, or, you know, raise flags in a situation,
You don't want to get the kid in trouble, because
Yeah.
the kid gotta
Right.
go back
Right.
home.
because we don't
Right.
know what they're gonna deal with when they go home.
Right, right. You know, what can we do, or is there anything that we can do to help with our level of stress, to help with all of this that we go through? I mean, is there a solution, or is it just we're out there on our own?
One thing that I tell myself every morning is that at 4 o'clock you're done. Period. Whatever. I don't
Yeah.
bring papers home to grade anymore.
Yeah.
I don't lesson plan at home anymore. I may
Right.
look at some things if I'm on the internet,
Right.
especially like my online stuff. It's like, oh, that's something I can assign that to the kids. You know,
Right.
something real quick. But at 4 o'clock, I'm done.
Right.
I'm mama or me, you
Right.
know, and I'm mama from 4 o'clock till
Next morning.
and till, you know, not even next morning, 4 o'clock till about 9:30, and then it's me.
And yeah.
And I'm gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it does it work like that perfectly all the time?
No.
But it's just like we have to speak that for ourselves. We have to, you know, journal and get that stuff out our heads, man. If you gotta sip a little bit, just a little bit, you know.
That's what we go to.
Whatever.
That's what we go to.
I mean, you have to figure out what works for you.
Right,
know?
right.
I had to call Candy and get some
Yeah.
candyology stuff. You know, I mean, you just never know what you gotta do.
and
Let
Candyology.
Let me
You
tell you, girl.
go ahead and give us a little something. What can we do to help with this stress so that our minds stay clear and mentally? If
I'm
y'all
just
don't know,
saying,
watch
it's
Candy,
stress reliever.
watch Candyology at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
tonight, and you will understand this clearly. You will see a visual.
Yeah.
You will hear. You will know.
I got that young candy kisses.
See, I'm
It
telling
looks like a
you.
lipstick, but it's not a lipstick.
She will
Uh-oh,
take
don't-
everything, whatever you need.
But you know what? What's crazy is teachers are my biggest customers.
I bet.
Hey,
Stress, it is a general stress. I mean, for real, a stress reliever. But not just that. Like, you know, we also carry lotions and stuff. So
Whatever it
like,
takes.
I always tell people calming things.
Yes.
Take a bath.
Yes.
I'm good at taking a bath and putting
Yes.
out my music and just
Yes.
Colin is on his tablet. And
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, those type of things help me. Also, support system for teachers. I think
Yeah.
this is a form of a support system.
Yes,
because we're talking it out and we're being therapeutic. But we used to call it ministry. What's the place down the street around the corner?
is it Chile?
No, not Chili's.
Oh, Taco Cabana.
Yes,
Yes.
Taco Cabana.
That's a
Church.
good cheap
That was
therapy
a church.
place, y'all. Good cheap therapy.
Yes.
Whatever. For under
And
$5.
Applebee's get a teacher discount. They get
Hello.
What's
Sure.
your ID?
ID. All you need is your ID.
I did not know that because you know we've been hooked on Taco Cabana for a minute, and
Hello.
Yeah. And you know, just put it out there. Sometime in June, I would like to get a trip together for it. And it can be from teachers from everywhere.
Right,
Just
right.
come and meet and just meet at a destination and just, you know, get to meet new people and all that kind of stuff.
please
So
keep us informed.
yes, ma'am, I'm sure.
Place, date, time. We will be there.
Yes, I will send the information to that.
Make
but
sure
yeah.
you guys sign up for whatever
Yeah.
she's putting out there. Go to it because we
Yeah.
need it.
For real.
But no, in thinking about support system too,
Uh-huh.
we became each other's support system as a team.
Right.
Like I can think of right now, the four other ladies that are on my team. One of them, she broke down like a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Because we had 5 fights that in 2 days.
Uh-huh.
We had that's one of the days that we had the attendance issues that we was talking about on the last show, and I was stressed out, and so she was stressed out. Then we had another. She wrestles with a kid that has ED, emotional disturbance. And not just one day out of the week, every day out of the week,
Right.
every single day.
Right.
So she has 3 of those. And then there was something else that happened. I cannot remember. But like literally after school, I came to her and I'm walking down the hallway about to just say, hey, I'm going downstairs to do my duty. And she poked on the floor, literally. Literally. And she's younger than I. And so I was like, okay, I gotta pick her up. Miss, come here. So I picked her and put her in her classroom and just sat there and talked to her. But she had to take a mental health day.
Right.
And
Right.
2 days later, so did I.
Right.
But,
Right.
You know, it's just, you gotta have support system.
I actually took a trip this weekend, and it was we were all teachers, and we had to get away because after this test and all of the stress of the test and did they pass or what do you think or what's the probability?
Did you have boot camp?
Oh
We had two weeks
yes.
of boot camp.
Oh, on top of ours, they took the STAR Tuesday and Wednesday. We had mock tests Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we tested all week
Which is crazy.
long. And after that's actually people do not realize standing there and looking at paint and making sure a kid is not
Actively monitoring.
Yeah, actively
Better wake up.
monitoring. Yeah.
Better wake up.
Yes.
It's like you've
Yeah.
been up the whole time talking, and I'm telling you
Yeah.
be quiet, but now the
Now
test
you-
is starting, you sleep.
And that's what I told him. I said, so words get in front of you and it just puts you to sleep. We've been reading all year long. Now all of a sudden you have a packet and you just can't stay awake. What's the deal? What's wrong? I mean, because we had to wait because they had an issue with something, so we had to wait before we could start. And I literally turned around. I mean, the whole entire class was knocked out, sleep. And I'm thinking, what happened?
What happened to the toss test?
You didn't accidentally drop it.
Did you just take us back with the toss?
I know she
Yeah,
did.
yeah, we went to the toss test because we didn't prepare. You just knew that the toss was okay.
Yeah,
so
you just knew. But part of it is the way to teach. Like we can't teach the way they used to
No.
teach us.
and I don't understand that.
And it's crazy.
And that's probably what's giving us these mental issues that
Right.
we're having.
Yeah.
Because if we could teach what's needed, and not what is on that test, a lot of our stress would go away.
Right.
I mean, because we can give the kids the social skills they need and have time.
Paired with the type of consequences that we have.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we still hit all Bloom's taxonomy and all
Yeah,
of that.
And I don't honestly, would we even have as many consequences if we didn't have? Because our stress carries on into our classroom.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So would
Exactly.
we even need the consequences? Would we even have the behavior issues if we don't have to teach to the test and deal with all this other stuff? And another part of it is, I know that they say that, you know, it's some of it deals with the money part. We can't hire people to do such and such and such and such. But
But didn't they work with less back then?
Absolutely.
exactly.
I mean, we still have big classes. I remember I had a class.
Corporal punishment.
That one
Yeah.
teacher that taught, I mean,
Yeah.
my teacher, she was my math teacher, my social studies
Yeah.
teacher, and it wasn't like a conglomerate of like a lot of stuff. It was stuff we
No.
needed to know. Like, I'm
Yeah.
fine. Like,
Right.
And a lot of kids do stuff just to get out the classroom.
Oh, yeah. Miss,
Yeah.
can I go to the restroom?
I mean,
Miss,
even
I need
behavior.
a Band-Aid. Oh, yeah.
Behavior, they just want to get out. They do.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, well, what you want me to do? Okay, I'm not pushing the button.
And then when
Not
they
today.
get suspended or whatever, then the parents want to, you know, why didn't nobody call me? And we've called you.
Yes.
And we've
why you didn't work with them?
You
Ma'am.
changed your number 4 times.
Hello?
Yeah.
I
Can't
tried to
reach
call
not
you.
one.
Yes, I tried calling your mama. I tried calling your ex-husband.
Your granny?
Your granny. And when I called your granny, she hung up on me.
Yeah.
So,
And then, you know, the administration sometimes, when you calling on them and they, you know, they're nowhere to be found, they have their priorities too. And it's just like, well, I don't have time to deal with this. So,
Job
but then they
security.
get mad, you know, you can't send them out the classroom. But why? Why should my 20-something students suffer because of this one?
25, 30.
Yeah, I got 32.
Yeah, that's why I said 25, 30.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean?
So then, and they get mad when I have to take my mental health days
Right.
back to back.
I will say that my school is very supportive on this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's so good.
Now, but
I mean,
Oh,
you're losing.
yeah, I forgot you.
You're losing people, and you're losing people who actually have a soft spot for children. They are removing themselves from something that they don't necessarily want to do.
Right.
But kind of back to the question that you asked, it's very important that you turn it off.
Right.
Whenever I leave the hospital, I debrief. I call it my debrief. I don't turn on any music. I don't do anything, and that even it's because of traffic. It takes me an hour, so I'm taking my hour.
Right.
And nothing gets in the way of that hour.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
And you have to be firm on it, and you have to make sure that, you know what, this is my self-care hour. Nothing can get in that space. You have to be persistent about it, because a couple times that you're not, you'll find yourself, you know, it's easy just to be like, oh, I've done it before, so I can do it. Absolutely, because we're
Right.
human. That's
Right.
natural for us to, you know, pick up and keep going. But that doesn't mean that your mental health isn't suffering because of it, where you have to take a day, or you feel like
Right.
I have to take a day, because like you, I hate taking off work. I don't
hate
want to
this.
take off work.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's got to be okay. You have to be okay with it. You know, a lot of times I don't like to rush in the morning because that sets my whole day off.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if I am running a little late to work, it's okay.
It's okay.
is okay.
It's okay.
And that's something that I had to realize this year. It's okay that you're a little bit late. It's
Right.
fine.
Right.
You still get everything in that
Someone's
you need to.
covering you until you get there.
Absolutely.
You know, and I was looking at another study that said 1 in 5 adults struggle with mental health. 1 in 5 adults in America, not in the world, but in America. Why is it so? Yeah,
Somebody in here.
Somebody in
That's
here.
pretty much what that is. You gotta count it down.
Maybe it's 3 out of 5. 5 out of 5.
yeah. 'Cause, I mean, that's a high percentage. Yes, of
Definitely.
people in America, and honestly, when I think about it. And I think about every job I've had. I think about the people I encounter. I've never met so many people that are struggling with so many things. Because eventually it comes out and they'll say, well, you know, I've been taking such and such for so long now. I'm sorry. Or today I'm not on my medication. Can you forgive me? And I'm thinking, what has happened here in America? What is going on where we are struggling and we can't focus on what we need to focus on? Because it has not been like this forever.
It's a,
What? Oh,
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So what happens when the teacher's off her medication?
The kids are off their medication.
Kids are on their medication.
it's a cluster.
It's a cluster. It is.
And then administrator is off their medication. I mean,
Oh, no, because they're on it too.
Yeah.
No, we're going to be
Oh,
real.
and,
They,
and then you call home.
and then you call home, they out theirs.
Oh man.
Yes.
But there's other countries like even some other states are having like 4-day weeks, or they
Right.
have, you know, especially in the lower grades, they have, you know, they're only in class for a certain amount of time, and
Right.
then they're outside for the other times.
Right.
And in other countries, they spend 45 minutes in the classroom, and then, you know, so it's just like, what, I think it's like Finland or something.
Yeah.
They have like the ideal education.
Yes, they do.
Educational system. And why aren't we
Modeling after.
it?
I don't
But
know,
we're taking
because-
we're taking up some of these math strategies from other countries.
Yes.
But we can't take the other part.
And I'm telling you, because I went to school over there. I went to school in Europe. Most of them have it all structured around Finland. And I went to school. When I got here, we were so far ahead. I graduated in 10th grade because they were like, there's nothing else. I don't know what else to give you. And the teachers over there were happy all the time. I don't remember seeing a teacher that was stressed out. They came in smiling, or if they were, they put on a good persona, good face, but you didn't feel that tension.
Yeah.
Everybody was striving to learn. We even had school on Saturdays.
Wow.
We had school on Saturdays. We went, but when we were off, we may go to school 6 weeks, we're off 3 weeks. We may go to school 4 weeks, and then we're off, 2 weeks. And it was structured like that, so everyone had their time.
Right.
And we still said in the summers, like when you guys were out of school, we may go to school, but we're off 6 weeks for a short period of time, and then we're back in for 4 weeks, or however the rotation it landed. And I think a lot of teachers here need our time off more frequent. Not
And then the other part of it is the parents, they're able to stay home, and like especially if you have a new, fairly new parent, their pay is great for the jobs
It
they have.
is.
And
It
then you
was.
have some parents who, especially if they have a young baby or something, they have paid medical
right.
for a whole year,
Right.
So it's just like.
It was ideal. Exactly.
It's just ideal.
That's true.
It's like,
That's
so
true.
You had some of that family and that home structure that you needed. Whereas here we have parents that are working 2 or 3 jobs.
Right.
And sometimes it's just what they have to do.
Right, right.
It's unfortunate, but it's not always the parent is just choosing not to deal with their child. Sometimes they just can't.
Right. I knew a girl. Speaking on that, she had her baby, and she looked at the baby. She was like, "Baby, you're not paying bills, but Mama got to go to work." And I'm thinking, the baby is only like 3 months old. She was like, "But she's not paying bills. I got to get my bills paid," because she wasn't getting paid for her medical, and that's additional stress that we take on. How will I feed this baby? Pampers are expensive.
And you have to juggle with, okay, do I go to work?
Right.
Do I go to work and pay daycare?
Right. Right.
Or do I stay home and not have to pay daycare?
Right.
And I mean, it's like it's a catch-22. It's like, what do you do?
In the United States, it's so many. It's democracy. My rights this, my rights that. So that's why I feel like it's not as structured. Because somebody brings up one thing that they think should be implemented, and then next thing you know, boom, you got more on your caseload. You got more to do. You got more to do because Miss Judy said that it's more important that we do this or that. And I'm
Right.
like, well, it's too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Who's going to stand up and say, hey, this is too much for this teacher,
Right,
or
right,
this
right,
is too much?
right.
But they're also worried about their job security.
Right.
So they're
right.
thinking, well, what about my family? When there has to be a middle ground somewhere
Right.
at some
Right.
point.
Right.
So our district is starting. If they're going to implement something where this is what they're saying, is that they're going to give you all the curriculum and all the plans that you need that you can follow.
Really?
You tweak it the way you want to. This is my understanding of it.
Okay,
This
okay.
is what I understood them saying is that they were going to build a calendar
I don't
of
think Candy
curriculum
believes that.
to say this is what you're going to teach and so forth. So that if they actually do that, that would be great.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have all lesson plans.
No lesson
No.
plan, but just the curriculum.
You have the curriculum and say on this day this is what we're going to be teaching, and you kind of plan around it, but you don't have to spend a lot of time on lesson plans looking for stuff and finding stuff because now it's just like these are the teachers that you should be teaching at this time.
Oh, you know what?
That's what it is now.
My district.
That's what it is now. But they're saying they're gonna roll it out and say this is the curriculum, not like here are some resources. This is the actual curriculum. Like you know what I mean? Like when I was in DeSoto, they gave us a writing curriculum. It came with all the books. It came with all the lessons and everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's what they're saying they're gonna do.
Because we don't have any resources.
Yeah,
We don't have curriculum.
yeah,
You just make the lesson plan and whatever you go over is what they get.
yeah.
You know what?
Here's your contract.
My district has curriculum. As long as they're keeping up with that curriculum and keeping up with the new changes, it works.
Yeah.
And you
And I-
have your resources, it works. But when they get people in that forget that, oh, in 8th grade, we're not tested on writing.
Right.
So why is the entire curriculum writing?
Right.
We're getting them ready for high school. Okay, but they're not being tested this year. Can we just kind of do something like short stories or something, or short essays or something to add that in? But why is the entire curriculum writing? Because our curriculum writers were from 9th grade, and so they decided that we got to get them ready for 9th grade and not worry about 8th grade curriculum. So
Yep.
that's an extra stress.
Yeah.
That's an extra stress. But
No curriculum, no paper, no resources.
oh, let's not talk about
Well, yeah, because school supplies. I was looking at the list. And I'm like, y'all don't even use half of this. And then when of course, kids old enough to say, well, we had to bring that because a couple of kids don't have it.
Right.
So I come to realize that those supplies are not for my child, but for the other kids, which is okay. So it's like I have to maintain all of this stuff. And then on top of that, if we don't have it, who's gonna bring it? Then y'all gotta start digging in y'all pocket too to make
another
sure.
stress.
Yeah.
I did a project for my class, and the parent, she kind of came at me like, my son said y'all was supposed to work on it in class and you didn't. I said, yes, we were, but when I asked the kids to bring their supplies and nobody did, I just told them to do it at home. Was I supposed to buy everything and pay for everything?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, man.
Right.
You didn't know
Missed
that
that
you
part.
have to fill in the gap?
Or I guess I wasn't supposed. Maybe I wasn't supposed to
Say it.
assign
Oh.
the project. I should have just did something else. I guess.
I guess
Because
so.
it only cost the kids that actually did. They said, "Oh, I spent $5." Good.
Good.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I treat that
With your
good.
$200 shoes on.
Right. And I have parents
That baby
you
had
stop
no
sending,
phone and an iPhone.
you stop sending reading passages at home. You gonna buy me a pack of copy paper?
Yeah.
In order for me to send those reading passages home?
The ones, and then it was the ones that don't even come back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also the ones that had on them $200 Jordans.
Of course.
And had a
Haircuts,
hair bow
fleet.
chain.
Yeah.
There's some kids come and ask me for a pencil every day.
Every day.
See,
Yeah.
that's what
Oh yeah, pencil every day. Or Miss, you have any paper? You have a journal. That's why you have a journal. Miss, I'm running out of paper. Use the back of it. Use the back of
My
it.
mama said she not buying no more.
Yeah,
pencils.
she
Okay,
did say that. Well, let's call her and find out.
And that's fine if she
Yeah.
doesn't, but then you can't do your work, and so when you get ready to fit, I could go buy pencils, and I have bought pencils, and give me your ID, I give you a pencil, you give it back. But then when you take my pencil and then you break it, and then
Yes.
and every
Yes.
time you come in, oh, I can't find the pencil, and I can't do this. I can't.
Right.
But you don't lose your phone.
Yeah. So I pass out golf pencils.
Stress.
And they hate golf pencils because they're thin and they're small, no eraser. I'm sorry. That's all I can do for you right about now. That's it. That I can't do anymore. Additional stress on teachers,
Right.
y'all. That is messing with our mental health. So let me go into this real quick. Teachers, educators, actually anyone. You have days. Use them. Take your days. You have to protect you. That's your school would be there, your students would be there. Protect you. Look out for you. Use your days to make sure your health is good. Make sure you have your mind straight. Make sure everything that is needed from you that you're able to provide and give to them. We do a lot. A lot is required of us, but a lot of times we don't do it for ourselves.
Right.
We're giving, and we're giving, but we're not taking that time to say, hey, you know what? I need to make sure that my mind is straight. I need to make sure that my body is straight, because a lot of us are getting sick in our bodies and not realizing it's coming from our mental health. It's coming from the stress that we harbor inside of us. So we need to make sure we're using what we got, and which are our days, and taking care of us. Anything y'all want to add?
Just real quick, when you mentioned the 1 in 5, I think it's
Yeah.
important too, the higher ups or people who have a position of power. I think it's important that as a community, we make it to where it's okay to say we need help. I think a lot of
Oh, that's
times
good.
people are so concerned with, I'm embarrassed, or
Right.
I don't want to feel like this or that.
Right.
Make people feel welcome and let them know that it's okay to say that, hey, I'm struggling with this or struggling with that, especially in the Black community with mental health. It's not okay to say that I'm stressed or I'm depressed. I think it's important that your support system makes you feel and allows you to speak on it and say, you know what,
Right.
I'm having a bad day, or hey, let me tell you about these couple weeks.
Right.
We need to promote making sure that we let each other know that it's okay to say I'm not okay.
Right. Anything you want to add, Bree?
Yeah, just my main thing is just put yourself on a strict schedule for yourself. You know what I mean? And as far as that, not to add any additional stress, but just say, for me, I wake up at a certain time most days, to where I have just time to just take my time getting dressed
Right.
and all that stuff. And so at 4 o'clock, I'm done. That's it. And whatever don't get done, it'll get done tomorrow. So cut it off.
Yeah.
I think y'all said it all.
Think so? Yeah. I don't know. I you know what? But I have to take your advice. 4 o'clock, I have to shut it off. I haven't been doing that as much as I need to. But I have been bringing my bag home and just looking at it, though. I think that's a start. That's not a start. Don't bring the
They
bag
mad
home.
at me. One time I stayed late and they were just like, "You still here?"
Yeah.
We always see you going. The one lady said, "No braids be going flying behind you. I be out of there."
Nope.
So don't bring the
my
bag
at
home?
I don't even bring it in the car.
Because if you look at it, it's still stressing you out. It's like, dang,
That's
I'm not
right.
supposed to do that.
That's true. That's true. I think I need to, that part I need to work on, because this year I'm better than where I was, because there was a point at 1 year that I was so stressed they had to carry me out in the ambulance. My pressure had went like over 200, over 100, like 100 and something.
Scary.
And they said they could see it in my eyes, and my skin had turned really, really dark. And so when they carried me out, they thought I was having a stroke. I didn't. Thank God I didn't. But when I got to the hospital, I was there for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm learning slowly
For
to
sure.
let go. And I think maybe that's what the rest of us need to learn, to let go. Let it go. So we can stay mentally healthy and physically healthy.
Yes.
All right, this is Teachers Are Talking. We have had a excellent conversation on mental health,
Yes.
what we can do, what we need to do, where it's coming from. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Y'all make sure you check out Candice tonight.
She
Candy
gonna help you with
Allergy.
that mental health.
She gonna help. She has the solution.
Yeah.
8 p.m. The Solution. We have a lot of new shows that are coming up. Stacy is working on her new show. You want to tell them a little bit about your show?
Our show is Truly Outspoken, no alternative facts. We're gonna be talking about real things, actual conversation. It's going down.
It's going down, y'all.
Absolutely.
It's going down. We are building a big family here. Tune in. We have shows starting tomorrow. We have a show about men in their man cave. We have a show. I think we have Wednesday. We have 2 shows.
I'm right.
No, I'm right. Yeah. Then we have another Sports and More the same day. They're doing trying to do an 8-hour show on Wednesday. Thursday we have another Trouble on the Air. Next Friday we have 50 Shades of Jay. Sexy. And then next Sunday we have Michaela. It's
So For Real.
So For Real. And think, and we have Candy back again every Sunday. Every Sunday. But
Right.
we will see you again in
We gonna call it Sundays.
yes.
Right.
But we will see you again in 2 weeks. Look for us at 6 p.m. with Teachers Are Talking.
Hey.